Well, well, well. Sistermon Rush is what you guys wanted to see, huh? Alright. For those of you that don't know, I play a lot of Digimon TCG, good amount. And recently, I asked y'all, what did you want to see for a deck list on this channel? For me to make my first proper deck list, my first brew guide, and you guys said Sistermon Rush. Now, to be entirely fair, there's more than just Sistermon in this deck. It's got some really cool things going for it. It is a very unique build. From what I've seen other people play when it comes to like rookie rushes and, you know, hit the ground, go wide, go fast, I haven't really seen anything like this. So I'm pretty hyped to show off this deck. I'm pretty hyped to play some matches of it with you today. And yeah, let me know in the comments below what you thought of it, and you know, maybe if there's something you want to see in the future, maybe I can brew something up. Keep in mind with all these videos, I'm not here to sell you like other content creators. There's going to be some meta defining bullshit that's just gonna, you know, wreck house, wreck shop. They're solid decks, like they work for what they're trying to go for. The point of these videos is to make a fun deck with a unique idea, unique theme, or just something that hasn't really been done a lot, or a twist on something that'll give people something fresh to play with. Deck brewing is one of my favorite things when it comes to TCGs, and Digimon allows for a lot of that, a lot of creativity and a lot of fun. So enough of that bullshit, let's get into it. So as you can see, we're actually using a yellow base, yellow-black base. There's gonna be a lot of familiar cards in here for you, but I quickly wanna go over, you know, just what we're running, the ratios, some changes you could make if you want, and then we'll get into some gameplay and combos from there. So first of all, your 4 eggs you're gonna run are gonna be KuroNoxAi. This just makes it so if you have another yellow Digimon in play, you're drawing 1, just helps keep your hand in your tempo. Essentially what we're trying to do here is we're trying to make it so that with each of the pawn chessmons, we can continue cheating bodies out as well as keeping our hand full. So for example, ST1904 pawn chessmon, on play, you trash a card from your hand, you draw 2. It's actually a puppet, but that's fine. So we're running 3 of this, and then we're running 3 of its counterpart, ST1905. This has blocker, and on deletion, then you trash a puppet and draw 2. So you got 1 on play, 1 on deletion. Having blockers in this deck is extraordinarily important. If you run into a piercing deck or a deck that just runs like Crimson Blaze, good luck. It's going to be a rough time. Pawn Chessmon BT13 has the on deletion effect where you can play a level 3 or lower Chessmon from your hand without paying the cost. That's great. It has to be on your turn though. And then finally, that's a 4 of. And then finally, we're running BT1364 at a 4 of. And this is blocker on deletion on your opponent's turn. You can play a level 3 or lower chessmon from your hand without paying the cost. So you've got very thick stack of cards that just say, hey, either get through cards to get to what you want or play shit for free. We'll get more to that later. Then we're running ST1903 Shumon. This is just on play, reveal the top 3 of your deck. You want to get a puppet and you want to get a liberator, then the rest go to the bottom. You never miss on this. I've never missed on this. Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? No. You're just going to be getting at least 1 target almost always off this. Then we're going to be running Sistermon Blanc from BT6. This just makes it so that on play you get a draw. It's a 3 cost, 3k DP attacker. And then Sistermon Blanc Awakened from BT7 on play. Place a Sistermon Blanc from hand or trash to the bottom, recover 1, and then on deletion, you can return your OG Sistermon Blancs back to your hand. We'll get into how this works later, but for now, let's take a look at some champions. So ST1908 Shumon is, if it gets hit in security, you get to play a level 4 or less Liberator from your hand or trash without paying the cost. The nice thing about this is it's a Liberator trait, not a Liberator Digimon. So you can play your Arisas off of this, you could play your Shumons off of this. Super cool stuff. And I'm pretty sure you can also play your Wonder Stomp off of this. I haven't ever targeted my Wonder Stomp, but just keep in mind that's there. You're very rarely going to see the security effect. This is one of those cards you could mess with the ratios. You could go to 4. The overclock is nice. So at the end of turn, you can delete one of your tokens, like or one of your puppets. So for example, let's say you swung into security with your ST13 Pawn Chessmon, the one that says if it's your turn, you can play a card for free. But you hit like a tamer or something like that, right? And it didn't die and you wanted it to die. You could use the overclock on Shumon to kill this and then play another card off good old Pawn Chessmon, and Shumon gets a swing. So just there's some stuff like that that just gives you variety and flexibility for play. So just keep that in mind as we go through this. Kazemon is just a simple hybrid Digivolution over a yellow tamer. I have found that having the 1 of, it gets missed on the searches a lot, but you have enough draw power to get it. Here's the thing. This card has given me finishing power when I lacked a singular swing and I couldn't get rush because I tapped out all my Orisas. So I just run it for that safety of like just one extra swing for a match, you know? This will come up sometimes. I'm not going to sit here and act like it comes up for every W, but that's the reason it's in here. Then we have EX7 Sistermon. This is very straightforward. If you have one or fewer tamers, you could play an Orisa from your hand without paying the cost. I originally was running this at a 2 of, and I was running the other Sistermon at a 3 of, but getting this Sistermon early game for a higher chance of getting this early game has more value than getting this Sistermon early game. And getting ST19 Sistermon later game or like mid game off of your searches is way more likely than you would think with just 2 copies. So that's why I changed the numbers. I want to see this as early as possible. If I'm not seeing this before I play an Orisa, it kind of feels bad, man. Just kind of feels bad, man. Then we're running ST19 Orisas. This is your memory setter. Sets your memory to 3, and then on your turn, basically if any of your effects play a token or a puppet, you can suspend this and give them rush. This is our main driving force. Every time we bullshit out a body onto the field, we're going to be giving it rush. We're going to be swinging. 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 That is the name of the game. Simply via numbers, we're going to W. That's how that works. And then we have EX7 Orisa. I apologize. This is the one that says start your main phase if your opponent has a Digimon gain a memory. There has been multiple times where I've gotten to 6 memory off of just having tamers on the field at minimum. So just keep that in mind. This could very likely be a 3, right? Instead of a 4. Because right now the 4-drop Orisa is at 4, 3-drop Orisa is at 4. You could run 3 of these, but I found them to be so valuable. I run 4. This also has a super amazing effect that says all turns when any of your tokens or puppet Digimon are deleted, suspend this, play a level 3 without paying the cost. This is massive, and we'll get into this later. This allows you to cheat out even more bodies, essentially. Now, we're also running Miki at a 4 of. This has an on play where we can essentially play a pawn Chessmon without paying the cost, right? But then the cool thing is, when you play a 2-color black and yellow Digimon, you suspend this, draw 1, gain a memory. So, whenever you play a pawn Chessmon, right, it's a 3-drop. Instead of doing that, you just pay 4, you get the pawn Chessmon out, you suspend this tamer, you gain a memory back, so you're still paying 3, but then you also get a draw off of it. That's super nice for longevity. And by the end, you're probably going to have more than one of these out. So every time you play a pawn Chessmon, you're actually paying less for the pawn Chessmon than you would by the end. So it's really, really, really nice. You can essentially start hard dropping pawn Chessmons once per turn for entirely free. Super nice. Heaven's Judgment, I was running at a 4 of. I dropped down to 3. The reason I dropped it down to 3 is sometimes it was just in my hand too much when I wanted to be playing bodies, and it was just sitting there waiting for problematic Digimon that never came. This is a wonderful board clear card. You got to keep in mind, for each Digimon you have in play, you get to give your opponent 6k DP, and it gives your opponent's Digimon 6k DP right off the rip anyways. So if you want to do some quick maths, right, we got yellow, we got black, we got white, and then we have the base. So you're doing a lot, 24,000, right off the rip, just for that. That is insane. And then if they hit it in security, you're giving negative 12k to something. So as far as a fight back against the big boys go, this is going to be your card. And then last but not least, Wonder Stomp allows you to play things for 1 less, as well as giving you a draw to help keep your hand and keep your tempo. Overall, this deck is actually way more versatile at dealing with threats than you would think on paper, especially with how many crazy top-end boss mons there are. What I want to do is I want to show you how it works, but before we do that, let's just take a look at some examples on how we could run some of these lines. So one of the first things you could do is if you have your Orisa down and your other Orisa down, is you can swing in with like a Sistermon Blanc, right? Let it die. Okay, it's dead. And then you could, once it's dead, you can use Orisa EX7's ability to play a level 3 for free. You play Sistermon Blanc Awakened. You get a recovery 1 off of that. You give it rush off of Orisa's ST19. And then you swing in with this one again. So 2 swings. And then also recover 1. And then you get your Sistermon Blanc back to your hand, right? So that's like one thing you could do. Another thing you could do with like the pawn Chessmons is if you have a few of these out, is you could swing in with the on deletion on your turn, play a Chessmon, the pawn Chessmon, swing in with that. It dies. You play a pawn Chessmon. You get your memory and draw power off of however many of these Mikis you have out. The pawn Chessmon that comes out, you can give it rush, and you can play an additional card for free off of your EX7 Orisa. So there's just a lot of, like I said, variety and lines you can do here. It's just a really, really good time. So why don't we do this? Why don't we hop into some matches and we'll go from there. You guys in a little bit. Okay, so we decided to mulligan our first hand because that shit was ass, and then unfortunately we got hit with a not so great hand either. But the best part about this is it actually showcases the versatility and consistency of this deck. Even when you have a bad hand, it is not the end of the world. Sometimes you just got to make unoptimal plays, but you can get yourself back up to speed really quickly. Keep in mind there'll be some misplays in this, but I just wanted you to know that, you know, hey, things are fine. So as you can see, they're actually playing a Knightmon deck. And fun fact about the Knightmon deck, they're not going to be getting deleted like at all. And I think they were kind of going through it because I wasn't deleting their stuff. So I'm not sure if they didn't really know how to deal with my deck or what was happening. But this round was pretty straightforward, pretty easy. I didn't really have too much to worry about. All their Digivolution effects just could not hit me. This was a relatively favorable matchup, at least the way that it was played. So already we got 2 blockers on the field. We've already been cheating some stuff out. We're going to evolve into Sistermon just to cheat out Orisa. That just gives us a little bit more value on our turn where we get some extra memory, and when things get deleted, we get some extra plays. Trying to figure out what they're going to do with their Dark Knightmon, because I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's not much they could do with that against me. And I was correct. Sometimes you just have to hold that. All right. Wound up using my blocker just like I wanted, just like we practiced. Get to play a card for free, get to play a second card for free off of my lovely Orisa. I wanted to just double check and make sure I didn't discard a Sistermon without realizing it. I forget sometimes. We're not all perfect, and with the way my brain's been lately, it's always best just to double check the graveyard before I start making decisions. Realistically, playing the Puppamon was the best play in every universe anyways. So we gain our memory, we go ahead, we get a nice little swing because they forced us to with their option card. We're going to play our Sistermon from our hand. This is where we start cheating a little bit, but it's okay. Pawn Chessmon, I'm going to actually Digivolve in Breeding so I can get that extra draw off of my egg later. Yeah, am I missing the on-play effect, but it's really okay. We're going to end our turn, choking them a little bit, putting them at 2 memory, allowing us to get a little bit more shenanigans with the draw power here. So as you can see, we actually hit our Kazumon. Kazumon's in hand, but he's not really relevant. There's not a whole lot they're going to be able to do to me here. You're going to see one of the misplays I made in a moment. So they're going to give it Piercing because I didn't read the option card correctly. Either way, I was intending on blocking with this Pawn Chessmon. I believe this is the one that lets me draw. No, it wasn't. I should just let them kill my Pawn Chessmon. But if I did, I wouldn't have had the ability to play a Pawn Chessmon for free on my turn. So it's one of those things where like hindsight's, 2020 kind of thing. We got very lucky with the cards they hid in our security. In case you can't tell, we got to play a lot of stuff for free, play a lot of cheats. I'm almost looking back, wondering if I should have played the Sistermon Awakened, but then I realized that I didn't have a Sistermon in trash yet, so it's okay. I find it very hard to believe that they had a good hand. I think they were really struggle busting the entire time because they're kind of just like, all right, what do I do? Kind of sitting here with not really a lot of options. And yeah, we got a massive board to swing in with and just kind of get the W. Hopefully there's nothing in security to fuck up my plan, right? That's what I'm thinking about. I'm like, okay, is there anything in security? Anything I need to be worried about? I was kind of like, maybe I should play one of my tamers. So if something dies, I can play something for free, give it rush, that kind of thing. But we were kind of going through it. So he's deciding whether or not he wants to block. Of course he blocks. It's the right thing to do. Now we get a recovery 1 just in case. Been itching to do that all game. Would have been cool if I played Orisa first and then gave it rush. But hey, we win some, we lose some. We hit an option card, because of course we do, off of the scramble. But it's kind of irrelevant because we still have plenty of swingers. And yeah, that's game. GG's. We go next. Now this one, there was a turn at the end where I could have won much more easily. I decided this hand, even though it was a little bit greedy, I thought it was perfect. Let's keep it. Again, this is one of those situations where I was just very, very confident in what this hand could do. And then I was like, wait a second. I don't know if I'm so confident now, but it all worked out fine. So we use a Wonder Stomp, cheat out one of our Chessmon was the original idea, but then we drew into Shumon, which is like, come on, doesn't get much better than that. We take an Orisa, so we have a Tamer. Because here's what we're going to do. We're going to Digivolve for 1 here, and then we're going to go into Orisa, so we have a memory setter. Puts them at their memory set count so that we're not overpaying or underpaying and losing memory value. I'm just trying to keep everything airtight because I am concerned now that I saw DLinkz that I'm just going to have a bad time. They have too many cards that could just blow up my board and stop me from playing cards. So I just want to make sure that I'm able to tempo as much as possible, get in some swings, start cracking their security before they can shut me out of the game. And at this point, I realize that I'm going to have a pretty nice turn here. We're going to do at least 3 damage. At least 3 damage. So feels good. We're going to play a Chessmon for free. We're going to go into the one, I think this is the draw one. Yeah. Or draw 2. Trash 1, draw 2. Oh, I trash a Sistermon that has the overclock. Yep. We play a Miki so that we can play a pawn Chessmon. This puts us back to our turn. Get some swings in here. Chumon needs to swing in. Yep. Get some damage, bringing it down to 2 shields already. So we've already taken a good chunk of their health, and I'm trying to decide, okay, what's going to set me up best for my next turn? I decided that doing Miki would, because not only does it give me more memory in my next turn and draw power to fill my hand, but it allows me to have extra blockers on their turn. You know what? Keeping my security safe is always a good thing. Unfortunately, I have no Chessmon in my hand right now, so I'm kind of a little bit worried with the play decision I made, but I have a Wonder Stomp to give me draw power that'll also allow me to play Sistermon worst case scenario. So if I play Wonder Stomp, I get to spend 2 memory to draw 2 cards, which is great value. And then I also have another Orisa for Rush if I wind up needing it. There was my misplay there. I did not need to block with that blocker. That was actually fucking stupid. If I didn't block with my blockers and I let the attacks go through, and I kept both of my Chessmon alive, I could have Wonder Stomped on my turn, gave Sistermon Rush, and then swung in for the W. But yeah, I didn't do that, so the game went on longer than it needed to because of a really stupid misplay. If I had been paying better attention and wasn't rushing, I would have not done that. And yeah, I noticed it immediately and I was like, fuck, I'm dumb as hell. So that was where some of the hesitation came in. I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, I have a few different options here. Let's just go ahead and play my cards right. Let's get my attack in so I can play Pawn Chessmon for free. Except I wind up not doing that. Because I was like, damn it, never mind. This is the one that makes me trash 1 and draw 2. Because again, I was rushing, wasn't really paying attention, so I was making misplays. But the good news is that we do get rush anyways on the Sistermon, and we get a recovery. So we get an extra swing here. There was definitely a better line I could have played on this turn too to result in a W. But, you know, we live and we learn, I guess. We live and we learn. I'm like, all right, well, this is my life now. I was just double checking to see if the Hainme gave a memory on their turn or not, and it did. I was considering using Heaven's Judgment just to clear the board, but when I was looking at the life total difference, I wasn't really worried about it. I should have been, because if they went into their top end, I would have been super screwed. Because they have one that says, like, if your Digimon at DP5, their Digimon have DP 5k or less, can't play them, and I would have needed to play them. But even if they did play that, I would have been fine because I have 2 swingers now, essentially, if they don't delete this blocker. And yeah, this is the card I was worried about. The Volcanictramon. And they didn't wind up adding it to their hand, so yeah. We kind of just get a free W off of this. Even though I made a massive misplay where I could have had game earlier on, I went unpunished. And I'm like, all right, well, you're not de-digivolving anything. Do your thing. I chose to block anyways. That was kind of dumb of me, but at the end of the day, it didn't really matter because once again, I was like, oh, okay, well, I could just get my play for free. And I was like, oh man, I just let him draw a card. That was dumb. So there was a few things I probably shouldn't have done there, but now I got extra plays because of the Orisa. And I was kind of in my head, I was panicking. I was like, what if he draws into another Volcanictramon? I just want to have some cards on the field so I can swing. So that's the reason I went the route I did here. Realistically, I probably just shouldn't have blocked. I shouldn't have given him the draw power, but it's okay. We make our decisions because it's not like he was going to Digivolve into an ultimate and then go into, you know, into Volcanictramon this turn. He already went into a different, you know, Bossmon, putting him at 0, so he had no real memory to work with. So I was fine just chilling. Yeah, and then I'll get a Heaven's Judgment right in my security stack. I don't even get rid of the Mega. I'm just like, all right, whatever. Let's kill something. Couldn't get rid of that Mega anyways. I just realized, duh. That's why I didn't hit the Mega, because it's 15k, not 12k. Stupid. But he's just like, all right, well, this is the game, I guess. I'm like, all right, what am I going to swing? I got all this stuff. Take your turn, take your turn, take your turn. And then he says, all right, GG's. For those of you that made it to the end of the video, thank you. Thank you very much. What'd you think? You like my little contraption, my concoction of bullshit that I put together? Little puppets swarming the board, doing the thing. I think it's fun. I think it's a good time. It's definitely, like I said, it's not really played like something you normally would right now, so it gives you a little bit of variety in the decks you can play. With DCGO, you don't have to pay money to rotate decks, so you can try anything for free. So big shout out to Wrong Zero, probably said that wrong, my bad, for making DCGO possible and allowing us all to play. And yeah, thank you for being the chads that you are, for making it to the end of the video. Again, this is something that I want to spend more time on, you know, trading card game content here in the video, but again, this is something I want to spend more time on in this channel, doing Digimon TCG content, but as you've probably noticed, my stuff's all over the place. So if you did like this video, I highly recommend checking out some of my other stuff before you decide to subscribe. It's always welcome, as is a like or a dislike, but yeah, I do a lot of different stuff here, so most of my content is kind of all over the place, so the rest of it may or may not be for you. Just a forewarning ahead of time. Anyway, if you haven't yet, join the Discord. We talk about all sorts of stuff there, including Digimon and the Digimon TCG. We need more Digimon fans. Please join us. I'm still asking. One day I won't be, but today I'm still asking. Other than that, that's it for this one, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Yeah.